back, my friends. I want to give you a quick explanation of what we're going to start seeing in the next week, 2 weeks, possibly even sooner. And it has to do with the hurricane season and the Bermuda high bubble, which is the high pressure bubble that kind of sits out in the Atlantic Ocean during this time of year. And you can see early in this chart, if I back up here closer to current time, we can see it's a little broken up. There's different high pressures all over the place, and we got the low pressure systems in between them. But over time, you're going to see this thing start to collect itself like it's beginning to do now. We can see that high pressure bubble getting very consistent out in the Atlantic Ocean, and it's going to sway from one side of the ocean to the other, and that's going to determine a lot of things. But in this situation that we're looking at in the next week and a half, we see the high pressure bubble kind of stabilize itself. It does morph, as I said, in different directions, but it just so happens that next week, late next week, we see two different systems pop up, both coming seemingly from the northern coast of South America, and they immediately shoot up to the Gulf. You're going to see one do that right here, and then you're going to see another right behind it. And the reason for that is because the high pressure bubble in the Atlantic, there's the second one right there going over Cuba and then into southern Florida. And again, the reason this is happening is because the high pressure bubble here in the Atlantic is keeping these storms pressed down in this area, and they're going straight up. The storms naturally want to move north based on what they say is the Earth's spin, and naturally, if these storms had no other forces around them, they would just naturally go straight north. So that's what you're seeing here. That's a quick explanation of what's going to happen with these storms if they form in this area, which they usually do in the beginning of hurricane season. Later on in the year, we're going to start seeing storms peeling off Africa across the Cape Verde Islands and then down this warm water belt, I call it, because it literally is a warm water belt. And also with the aid of the high pressure bubble here, they're going to keep those storms pressed down in this area until they become strong hurricanes right about this area near the Lesser Antilles Leeward Islands. And that's where this pressure really comes into play. You can see it extending all the way to the eastern coast of the United States and even inside Florida. And that's going to allow any storm that forms here to go straight up. It'll be blocked by that high pressure wall and be forced right into the Gulf of Mexico, as we could see with these forecasts the storms are showing. As I said, there's the first one of the two, and then here is the second shortly after. So just the fact that this map is showing this, even though it may not happen in this exact fashion, it's showing that the conditions are changing, and this high pressure bubble is now forming and being very stable. And again, I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but this goes for later on in the season when we start seeing storms coming off Western Africa. The high pressure bubble will be there, as you can see right here, and just use this as an example. Imagine this as a big storm. It's forming, being pressed down by the high pressure bubble in this warm water, which is fuel for these storms. And as it gets stronger and stronger, it's a major hurricane by the time it gets to this point. And that's when the high pressure also comes into play, determining whether we're going to have an East Coast hurricane or if we're going to have something in the Caribbean and then in turn the Gulf. All right, my friends, I hope that helps a little bit. Just a quick nutshell explanation of the high pressure bubble in the Atlantic Ocean that has a very big impact on where these storms go. Whatever happens after that, we will figure out in real time. All right, my friends, I appreciate you all. Take care. Bye-bye. Stop right there, my friends. If you have not already, click that subscribe button and don't forget to hit the bell icon. Click all and you will get all notifications from this channel. And trust me, you won't be disappointed.